Hello, 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 Wings of Wisdom listening audience and Virginia's virtual viewers. I am so excited to have Mrs. Mia James on today's episode, and she is a financial wellness coach. She's also an entrepreneur, and she's also a philanthropist. So I am excited, and I want Mia to actually give us a brief bio. I want you to drop your bio with Wings of Wisdom and inform them how you started your journey from seventh grade, your first entrepreneur endeavor, to actually firing your boss at the age of 40.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on today, Virginia. I really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. It's so great to be here today. So, entrepreneurship is in my blood. Just like Virginia said, I started my first business in the seventh grade, but I really venture to say that I really started my entrepreneurial journey earlier than that because my parents, like my mom had an Avon business and my dad wanted my mom to teach me entrepreneurship. So I would fulfill the orders, I would bag the orders, and then my mom would just deliver them for me. And she would kind of do the marketing and the delivery, and I would do like the back end work. And so I would make money from that. So fast forward, seventh grade, I would go to this place called Smart and Final. So it's like a Costco or BJ's, depending on where you live, a Sam's Club. And I would buy candy in bulk. And then a lot of us know Oriental trading. During different holidays, I would just buy like cute stuff for like Christmas or Halloween. And I would put together like these little baskets with candy in it. And I would just go to school and I would sell these cute little baskets that I put together, or I would have my friends come over to my house after school and have everything nicely displayed on the table. And I would start selling. So it was just natural to me because, my father and all my dad's side of the family were all entrepreneurs. And it was something that came natural. So fast forward, I actually got my degree in economics because I was just always fascinated with like, how does money work? How do you make it grow? Where does it come from? All of this. So before that, actually in 12th grade, I actually competed in a stock market game. And that is how I got introduced to the stock market. Unfortunately, my father would not let me compete because I was the only girl. And so any parents out there, look, if your kid has a dream, please let them pursue it, because I know I would have been much further along if I had pursued that passion. But unfortunately, I was not allowed to do so, but I was really good at it. I won the, class game, and I started investing when I was about 16. I opened up an account with the help of my parents, but then I kind of let that go for some time. So college comes, I am there with studying economics. Then I ended up getting into education. And just like Virginia said, at 40, I ended up firing my boss after a 15-year journey in the field of education, because I realized, one, I was in a work environment that was pretty toxic for my mental health and physical health. And two, my passion has always been to help people understand money and make their money work for them so that they can live the lifestyle that they truly desire to live.
Wow, wow, wow. Wings of Wisdom listening audience, are you understanding these golden nuggets on her journey? So she got tired of the rat race in the corporate arena. And I had one coach who said we just went from the plantation to the corporation, but that's another topic on another day.
Amen.
But it's amazing that you had this in your youth, and now you actually are inspiring women and empowering women now to achieve not just physical but holistic in the wellness in their holistic and in their finances. So your method of teaching, how do you actually incorporate that holistic financial wealth mindset?
I'm so glad you asked about that. So I actually started my business Beyond the Business with self-care in mind. So remember, I came from a toxic work environment and I was really sick. Even from high school all the way through, I would say 2018, I always had some type of illness. And ladies, I don't know if men watch too, but fam, stress is a killer. It will take you out in so many ways. It's a silent killer. And we have to stop normalizing stress, whether it's from work, family, anywhere in between. And so I took a stance and I was like, you know what? I have to do something different about my health. And so in 2018, I started my business Beyond the Busyness, and I went on a personal wellness journey and I started sharing that journey with others. And but I realized a lot of the methods that I was using that was working well for me to become healthy cost a lot of money, and they're not necessarily covered by insurance. And then also to eat healthy, that also is significantly more expensive than just buying, whatever from the grocery store. And so I realized, I sat back and said, you know what, if we don't address finances, it's really hard to also address health, because sometimes we need that unconventional method to get well versus, always using pharmaceuticals. And so, long story short, how I integrate it is I'm a licensed counselor. So my master's degree is actually in counseling, and I realized that money is 80% behavior. It's not just numbers. A lot of people don't like to deal with money because they don't like numbers, but money is far deeper than numbers. So I use my counseling background when I'm talking to any client, and we actually get down to the root of their thinking behind their spending, because spending is not wrong. It's about what you spend on, and if you're getting a return of investment on what you spent your money on, right? So if you get a degree and it's allowing you to make a certain amount of money and have a certain lifestyle, then that's an investment versus looking at the student loan as bad debt. However, if you buy something that just depreciates and doesn't bring you any return, and you don't have money in the bank, well, we have to ask ourselves, why do we keep buying things that don't have any return? So I'm looking at that when I'm talking to my clients. I'm also a trained yoga instructor. So sometimes money brings up anxiety, embarrassment, um, old trauma, childhood trauma, right? And so what I'm going to do is we need to take a deep breath before we get into the conversation. Sometimes we need to stretch. Sometimes we need to move that body, because our body holds energy. And so I I've used yoga many times in my sessions to just say, you know what, let's just move. Let's just deep breathe. Let's meditate for a second. And let's focus on what we want to happen at the end of this conversation and shift our mindset towards our money. So that's how I incorporate wellness.
Wow, I love it because I'm a swimmer. So whenever I do a workout, I love swimming and I feel amazing afterwards. But it's, doing it, getting there, doing it. 'Cause sometimes you need that partner to help you, get there. But sometimes you have to have that made up mind and do it yourself.
That's right.
What are some practical steps for those individuals who want to build wealth, but they feel that they're, starting from scratch? They don't know where to begin.
Awesome. So the first step is really just to decide, right? You have to make a decision that you want to do something different and that the current state that you're in is no longer going to work for you. And I know that sounds simple, but if it was that simple, we will all do it, right? So it's just like you said earlier about, going swimming. Sometimes you need that accountability, that partner. So if you are that person who tends to talk yourself out of doing something or negotiating with yourself, I'm guilty sometimes, right? I'll say, oh, well, maybe tomorrow, no, make a decision. I'm doing something different today. The second thing is you have to have compassion with yourself and forgive yourself, because if for anything that you've done in the past that you may regret, let's just say, yeah, we may have all made bad money decisions. I've even made bad money decisions, but now we are going to make better money decisions and we're going to get help, because in our community, let me just speak from in the Black community, okay? And I don't want to make a general statement, because if you know something different, that's fantastic. But from the people I know, no one wants to have this conversation. But do you know wealthy people talk about money like it's like talking about it's a beautiful day outside? Because the only way for us to elevate is to get additional knowledge. So the third thing I would say is to get some help from a professional. A lot of us are getting financial advice from TikTok and Instagram, which is okay to a certain extent. But if you're not taking action, faith without works is dead. Like it doesn't make you might know everything that I'm telling you right now, but if you don't use it and implement it, it doesn't mean anything. So, like my business partner says, knowledge with action is power, not just knowledge. So, then the last thing I would say is get under the hood. And what I mean by that is face the situation head on. And if you need help with that, you can reach out to me. I do complimentary consultations. But basically, what I mean is look at your situation for what it is right now. And then you can know how much you owe if you have any liabilities like debt, know how many assets you have. You know, what are your retirement accounts worth? Are they growing? Are they working for you? Know how much expenses you have, because a lot of times you have your money on autopilot and you're paying for something you haven't used in years. So you got to get under the hood. I have a whole system. Like if I pass away today, God forbid, my husband can go in a drawer in my safe and he can get everything he needs and he is going to be very wealthy. I was like, go have a vacation, go do, I have everything, my will, my trust, everything set up. Make it easy for your family. Create a legacy drawer where all you have access to your accounts, who's the beneficiary. Oh, and change your beneficiaries if you had a change in life, like you've gotten divorced, you've gotten married, you've had children. Make sure you are on top at least yearly, looking at your assets and accounts to make sure everything is up to date, because you do not want your family to lose wealth because you weren't on top of this.
Wow, wow, girl, you're a wealth of information. It is amazing, all the golden nuggets that you are dropping. And I met you in the community with Katrina Fitton. So my motto is collaboration and affiliation is the keys to acceleration. And my previous coach would always say mindset, strategies, and execution. So
Mm-hmm.
it's true that you have to work on that mind first, and then that strategy has to come in place, and then you have to have the execution plan. So you are right on target, my dear. But I got another question for you. What are some common financial mistakes or misconceptions you see amongst professional women or business owners?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay. Common financial misconceptions. Ooh, okay. So first, a common one that I see is just not paying attention to
Wow.
money. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if your personal finances are not organized, maybe your business finances may not be organized either. So as a business owner to business owner, here's what I always tell people: please make sure that you don't commingle funds. Meaning, if you have a business, you need to have a separate business checking account just for business transactions. Avoid trouble with the IRS at all costs because they are going to get their money. So do it right. Um, the other one is not getting professional help. I know a lot of times we don't necessarily have the funds to hire somebody professionally, but there are ways to get business funding. Um, Virginia just mentioned Katrina. There's also ways to get help for free, or you can barter. Like, I am not a good marketer. Like, I know that about myself, but I know what I am good at. So I have a client who is excellent at marketing. She put together a marketing plan for me. I built her systems and on her back end, and we just exchanged services. So think outside the box when it comes to getting professional help. A lot of this DIY stuff can get you in trouble. Yeah, I'm gonna say that it can get you in trouble. I have an attorney, I have a CPA, and a tax strategist. because and sometimes the people you hire first are not the best people. Sometimes you need to compare services, because I had someone that I asked, hey, a CPA, I said, can you give me my estimated quarterly taxes that I need to pay? They were like, oh, just go online and just figure it out. And I was like, no, I'm not a CPA. I do finance. I don't do accounting. Well, that was not good advice at all. I ended up owing the IRS for the first time in my life. I'm like the person who does their taxes early, because the person did not do what I asked them to do, even though I knew what needed to be done. So just because you have hired someone, that's another thing, doesn't mean that they're doing the best by you. Especially if you have that intuition that's telling you, I know I need this service. Find someone who is going to deliver that for you. And then another myth is that it's not going to happen to me. So a lot of us are out here underinsured, and you have no asset protection and no income protection because you feel like it's an extra expense. But what wealthy people will tell you is that all of their assets and their income is backed up with insurance, unless they have a great deal of wealth and they can be self-insured. So until you build that wealth, you want to take that risk off of you and your business, and you want to put that risk on an insurance company. And think of it as an investment, because it will be a tax write off if you're a business owner. But think of it as an investment in protecting your assets versus another bill. We have to think differently about how we see financial things, and think about how it's helping us versus draining our bank account.
My audience, Erlene hinted, and Dr. Erlene hinted, I should say, she's saying, oh my God, she is so informative. And Juanita Johnson, exactly. Very good advice. They're just all weighing in. And I know Katrina, our financial coach, she also tells us if you want to go faster, hire a master. But we
That,
look at hiring a master as an expense.
mhm.
But how can we like shift that mindset from like that financial stress that we're always in to a mindset of financial confidence? Like flipping that coin and not really always thinking that, it's an expense, it's an expense, it's an expense, but it's actually an investment. It's an
Mhm.
investment. It's an investment.
Yeah. And it's a tax write off. So if you're making a lot of money in your business, you want some tax write off, right? I mean, you know, I always think of everything as, how is this, so any before you make any decision spending wise, right? How is this getting me to my end goal? Is it going to help me go faster? Is it going to protect me? These are some things you can ask yourself before you make that investment. Is this person helping me to get to where I need to go? If the answer is yes, how do you basically plan for it? So, when I do business consultations with business owners, we're going in the weeds when it comes to how much money that they're spending. I mean, we're getting like, I'm like, okay, how much do you spend on advertising? Do you have Canva? Do you have something like MailChimp? We are going real deep in the weeds. And the other thing, a lot of times business owners don't think about is you have costs that are not only monthly, you might have quarterly costs, you might have annual costs. How are you accounting for that? So the biggest thing is you want to pay attention to what's going out and what is coming in, or at least have a bookkeeper that's doing it for you and having consistent meetings with them so that you can stay ahead of things that are coming down the pike. You always want, like right now, I'm in 2025. My mind is in 2025. 2024 is over. You always got to be thinking ahead, especially if you own a business and especially with your numbers. And if that's not your strong point, your creative zone of genius, you might be a therapist, right? Then get somebody who can help you and be that person as your on your financial board of directors. I'm very big on financial board of directors.
Wow. So your vision and your mission is to redefine self care through the holistic lens with physical, emotional, financial well being. And I know you came up with the name Beyond Busyness. How did you actually develop that?
Oh, well, I'm a recovering overcommitter.
Mm,
I That's probably another reason why I was sick all the time. I was that
mm.
person, I was doing everything. I'm volunteering, I'm working 5,000 jobs, I'm doing this, I'm doing always moving, moving, moving. And what I realized is that everyone is always screaming about how they're busy. First of all, I don't, when people say, "Oh, Mia, you're busy," I was like, no, I'm intentionally scheduled. Everything that is on my calendar is there because I want it to be there. I do not do things I don't want to do. Like that's,
Mm.
I'm past that point in life. We're done with that. Because the thing is, those things rob your joy. They sap your energy, and it could be people, it could be organizations, whatever it is. But you have to get clear on, yes, exactly, Bonita. 2024 is over, so you have to get clear on who are the people, organizations, and projects that bring you joy, and those things need to be on your calendar. Therefore, you're no longer busy. So every Saturday, I take a Sabbath, my Shabbat, right? I tell people on Saturday I'm Jewish. Okay. I'm taking a Shabbat. I may answer the phone, I may not, but that is my day to refuel and recharge. Sunday after church, that's my CEO day. That's the day when I am able to create in my business, right? Where I'm, just thinking, ideating, things of that nature. And every day has a different purpose. Wednesdays, I don't see clients. That's the day, another day for admin for me. But I see clients Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm very intentional about how my calendar is structured because I don't want to be busy. I never want to be too busy to take care of things that are important, like your finances. You can put it off, but tomorrow is not promised for any of us, truth be told. And as business owners, especially if you have people that are dependent on your income, you want to make sure your legacy is secured. And the only way we can do that is if we carve out the time, we're intentional, and we don't procrastinate. Because again, tomorrow is not promised.
Wow, girl, when you said joy, I had a coach. She's actually on Miss Jacelyn Blankenship. I've had from 2020 walking away from the airline industry to now. I had coach after coach after coach, and I'm getting ready to hire you, just so you know. you know. But she would always tell me in our initial sessions, what brings you joy? That was one of her main focal points. What brings you joy? And that's why Wings of Wisdom was birthed, because that brings you joy. And not only that, Wings of Wisdom is built on biblical principles, and that's one of the fruits of the Spirit. There's 9 fruits of the Spirit, and joy is in there. So that's key. And being intentional is vital. And I had another coach that I'm with now, Dr. Tina Jane Ramsey. She's on, and she always say, no, no is your friend if it doesn't align with your purpose. And that's the problem with a lot of us. We just can't say no. So our plate continues to get full and we just busy, but don't have anything actually in line with where we really are going. So what strategies do you recommend for those who are struggling with financial insecurities?
So first, I will recommend journaling. Actually, um, write down what are those financial insecurities, because the first step in anything is awareness, right? It may be challenging. So if you have a therapist and you prefer to kind of explore with the therapist, that's also something you could do. But the first thing is to figure out what are those financial insecurities and where did they stem from. So, for example, my bestie actually helped me out with discovering a financial, I want to, a financial roadblock that I personally had, right? I'm still going through my own financial roadblocks because we all have them, from our childhood and maybe things we've experienced prior. So one thing, like my dad, he didn't believe in designer clothes, right? And so if I would say when I was younger, hey, can I get some Nikes, right? He would say, you don't need those Nikes. I'm going to give you $100 instead, like $100 bill. This literally would happen to me all the time. And so the moral of that story is, in my mind, like now, I always settle for second best. I don't always get what I want. And that has kind of played out through my life. And so go back and think about, like, what may have caused these financial insecurities. I have a friend who went through an eviction when she was younger. That caused financial insecurity for her. So like now she's like super tight with money. So what are some, notice what behaviors you have and where those behaviors come from. What agreements have you made with yourself? Like, oh, I'm never going to deal with that again. And has that caused you to be stingy with money? Has it caused you to be too free with money? Has it caused you to second guess when you're making decisions? So you have to kind of do some exploration around that and then decide, how do you want to move forward differently?
Wow, 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 wow. You are dropping some golden nuggets, my dear. And I want to say, give Wings of Wisdom and Virginia's virtual viewers one last golden nugget, but you've been pouring it on, but they're all weighing in and they're so excited. They said, my Juanita Johnson's, that's my sister. She said today's episode is powerful. And it's really you because, you almost got a triangle effect. Not only are you, a financial wellness coach, an entrepreneur, you got this wealth of information, but you did the work and you did the inner work. And that's what it takes. It's an inside job. We focus on the outer appearance, but really when we get and sit with ourselves, it's really working on the inner you from that childhood. Like when you started in the seventh grade, you were having that mindset shift really then. And then actually leading all the way up to that day when you said, I'm not taking this stress anymore. I'm firing my boss and I'm doing my own thing. So being intentional is really, really, the key for us. But if you could drop one last golden nugget for Virginia's virtual viewers, what would that be for that person who's actually sitting on the fence and they're saying, wow, I need to put a lot of things in place? What should their initial steps be for, just putting, the first step that they would actually take?
So, that's hard to say. First, I would say don't do it alone. Get some help, especially if it's scary to you and you don't know where to start. Just get some help and some accountability.
Wow. Once again, like Katrina Fitton, our coach, if you want to go faster, hire a master, and not just hiring a master, getting the knowledge, getting the wealth, the collaboration, is the connections. That's the key to soaring high and becoming the best version of yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, now is the time to share on your electronic toys. We are so excited you are leaning in, listening, and learning today. So, Miss Mia, if they want to reach out to you, I have Mia at beyondthebusyness.com. Is there any other way they can reach out to you on social media platforms?
Yes. You can go to beyondthebusyness.com, and you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Beyond the Business. So I'll also put it in the comments. That's why you all see me looking down. I joined also so I can be in the chat. I love chats, y'all. So yeah, this is my if you go to beyondthebusyness.com, that'll be the link to my new book I just wrote. And then I'll also drop in the chat the link to my my link tree, which will give you all of the things that you can have access to. So give me 1 second and I'll grab that. All of my offers. There we go. And also, I just launched a coaching program, so I will drop that link in the chat as well in the comments.
So, Virginia's virtual viewers, give Mia some love in the chat. We are so excited that she was able to take a little bit of time out, the busyness. She removed it and came on Wings of Wisdom, and I am so excited to have this collaboration with her, and it will be a lifelong legacy for each of us. So I'm grateful to be connected to you with all of your wisdom, and so grateful you were able to share your wisdom on Wings of Wisdom. So ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, you all have a wonderful day, and don't remember to share this on your electronic toys. Have a wonderful day.